Hello, and welcome to this demo of the D&I Index. My name is Alexa. I'm the co-founder of HR Data Hub, and I'm going to take you through our tour of the D&I Index today. We are currently sitting in a demo account for a fictitious company called Quablo Energy. We've created this fictitious company to help you get a sense of what the D&I Index might look like for you if you had submitted data across all characteristics or some characteristics or anything like that. It's helpful to see this tool in context. Otherwise, I would just show you a blank screen, and I don't think it would be worth this time. So let's take a tour of the D&I Index for Quablo Energy. I'm in the homepage of HR Data Hub now, and I can straight away head over to the D&I Index here. From the top, it's going to show me the overall score for Quablo Energy, which is 72 points out of 100. You get an overall score if you have submitted data and have a score for at least 3 characteristics or more. Here, Quablo has done an amazing job at gathering data from all of its employees, the majority of their employees, and so they have a score for everything. We also can see underneath here that you have an accreditation. Here, Quablo Energy has 2 stars out of 3, which is a pretty good job. At a glance here, I can see the individual scores for the different characteristics, so I can get already straight away putting my senior HR director hat on, where are some areas where I'm performing better than others. If I scroll down even just a little bit further, I can start seeing the breakdown of these different areas. I can see, okay, gender is like that. What about age? How am I doing there? Okay, how about LGBTQ+? Okay, I'm straight away learning from there. Without going too much further, I already have a sense of where are some of the areas that I might be performing well. Is it representation by talent area? Is it a representation by level? Is it in tenure or pay differentials? And if I wanted to, I could jump straight into looking at what to do about it, what are recommended actions. But I actually want to wait a little bit and investigate the data further before I jump into actions. So I can go straight into the dedicated gender page, where it's going to tell me all of the different data points in the breakdown of all the charts for every measure, specifically as it relates to gender. So as you can see at the top here, I have a reminder of what my score for gender is, what the overall measures are, and I can scroll down and start investigating my individual charts. So on the top left-hand side corner here, I can see, okay, what is my male to female ratio representation within my organization? How does that compare to my sector? As Quablo Energy is in an energy and utility sector, I can see, okay, women are underrepresented compared to my sector in here, and how does that compare to the census? I can go straight into understanding what that overall representation is, how it's broken down between different levels. So here we're looking at women representation in my organization versus my sector, and I see that at manager, senior manager, and director level, I'm actually well behind or quite far behind my sector average. So that may be something I want to take a note of and maybe a point of concern. But I have to look at the other charts to understand the context. So what does tenure look like for women versus men in my organization? So I see that I actually don't have that much of a tenure problem internally. In fact, there are some areas where there are discrepancies. Women are staying longer than men in some of their roles. Is it that much longer? Probably not. It's maybe not something that I need to take a note of. However, if I look at tenure in my organization for women versus my sector, I see that there's some huge discrepancies, and that women, especially at manager, senior manager, and director level, tend to stay much less longer than women in other organizations in my sector. Now, I remember that's also that because I have an underrepresentation issue here. So is there a correlation? That's something I need to investigate. And finally, at the bottom, I can look at representation by talent area and pay differentials. So are women in my organization spread out evenly across different talent areas, or are they really highly focused in one area? And I see here that really there's a huge representation in environmental, social, and governance roles versus others. So this is something I need to take a look at. And I also noticed that in terms of pay differentials, we actually see that at this level. So we're talking here at director level, women tend to be around 9% paid on average 9% less than the male counterparts at similar levels. So I can keep investigating those charts and trying to understand, okay, what's happening at senior manager level. If I click on that, is there a pay differential issue? It's kind of not really. What's the representation by talent area look like? What does the tenure look like? So there's a wealth of information that I can get just from this section alone. But then, of course, if once I've taken down my few notes, I can say, okay, well, what do I do about it? What are recommended actions for me based on my data and my results and what's been happening across other organizations in my sector? That's when I head to actions. In key actions, I can see the difference between what are actions that are recommended out of best practice and other organizations that are overperforming compared to me versus the actions that I already have in place. And HR Data Hub will know that because as part of the data submission for Quablo Energy, we will have completed a policies and actions survey that tell us all the different initiatives and policies that Quablo has in place. So if I scroll down here, I can see that, okay, top action for gender is mentoring. Amazing. We have that. How about use of inclusive language? We have that. Great. STEM activities, perfect. And if I scroll down, flexible working patterns, I know from context that maybe Quablo is in the process of implementing that, so no problem. But I can see sponsorship programs. I actually don't know, as a senior HR professional, I don't know too much about this or how we might implement it. So I can click through here and learn all about sponsorship program, not only descriptions, but what might be really good about it, what might be some things that I want to consider as I'm implementing it. I can understand the impact of sponsorship programs across other areas of D&I as it pertains to its score, and I can connect directly to the rest of the HR community that is a part of HR Data Hub or experts that are part of the HR Data Hub partnership program, where I could understand, okay, is this something that I want to implement? Should I connect to one of my peers or should I connect to an expert to try to help me implement this? So there's a wealth of other areas like libraries, case studies, lots of other tools. But hopefully this was a good introduction into how in a few minutes I can get a grip on what's happening in my organization versus my sector. How do I rank that and score that meaningfully and all the way towards what can I do about it? What are meaningful actions that I can take? How can I learn more about that and decide what is the next right step for me in my organization? I hope this was helpful. If you want to discover more about this or learn more about the D&I Index, don't hesitate to reach out to our team. That was Alexa on behalf of HR Data Hub. Have a lovely day. Thanks.